It's called Hero with a Thousand Eyes by Steve Lukather, and Steve Lukather is the guitar player for Toto. I'm very good friends with the whole band of Toto, have been for a long time. And Steve...
Guys, that last video, the 2-hour video I did, that just bizarrely enough, the guy that's pulling the levers and pulling the strings, and Toto runs over there and pulls back the curtain. As my title on this picture I wrote, Oz wizard equals the same as Madonna devil on curtain. So, you know, if you look at this image of the Wizard of Oz, it's pretty much identical to Madonna coming up out of the pit with that same symbology behind her. So now let me just get into the meat of the matter. Now, Toto. Okay, so they're in a place called Oz, and Oz, when you look up, you do the same thing I'm teaching you, O-Z.
It's called Hero with a Thousand Eyes by Steve Lukather, and Steve Lukather is the guitar player for Toto. I'm very good friends with the whole band of Toto, have been for a long time.
Oz, when you look up, you do the same thing I'm teaching you, O-Z. When you look up 1526 in the Bible, it means an inhabitant of Gilo, which means in the root of that word, and I'll show it to you, it means to be carried away, captive and denuded, because just like all of us, we've been carried away captive into their system and denuded. We were given host bodies of nakedness. It's really important that you understand that, and I've taught that in other lessons, that in Genesis 3, when Adam and his wife they're given coats of skin. They are given different bodies. They went from they were given skins, suits of nakedness. Now watch,
here's the creation, literally, of the host body system, male and female.
Which means in the root of that word, and I'll show it to you, it means to be carried away, captive and denuded, because just like all of us, we've been carried away captive into their system.
This is denuded.
And denuded.
Because it's
we were given host bodies of
inside
nakedness. It's really important that you understand that, and I've taught that in other lessons, that in Genesis 3, when Adam and his wife they're given coats of skin. My testimony, what did the Lord say that I got saved? When I left the room. It's really important that you understand that, and I've taught that in other lessons, that in Genesis 3, when Adam and his wife they're given coats of skin. They are given different bodies. They went from they were given skins, suits of nakedness. Now watch, pay attention, because of their willingness to participate in what we call the host body system. Now watch. Here we are in Oz. The Wizard of Oz is yelling at him, even though they've done what they were supposed to do. They were supposed to go get the broom of the Wicked Witch of the West, which he didn't think they'd ever be able to do, but they did. And now the guy that's really pulling the strings and running the whole place called Oz is behind this curtain. But I want you to look at the curtain now. Look right here at the floor. Look how it's right side up, and they made sure this floor is shiny and it's right side up, upside down. Now watch what happens here. Watch Toto go up and reveal and make manifest everything. And by the way, when this happens, then the right side up, upside down. Now watch what happens here. Watch Toto go up.
Watch Toto go up.
And reveal and make manifest everything. And by the way, when this happens, then this is what leads to her getting to go back home, because, you know, the whole trip back home was dependent on this. Watch. Now, it would be impossible absolutely impossible for Toto, the name Toto, Toto, to be part of the Little Orphan Annie or Jonathan Clegg decoder ring, where you take To, so T is, let's do it. Let's do our little math thing here. Toto is 2015, 2015. So I find it interesting they did it twice. Toto 2015, 2015. Well, let's go look up 2015. Epiphania.
Well, I mean, you can do 40, 30, 2015.
Y'all know what an epiphany is? It means, to appearance, like appearing, manifestation, display, to show forth properly a fitting manifestation. Oh, wow, a conspicuous appearing. so, so, but what's the other 2015 for because it's Toto? It's twice. Is it so they could use both words to turn, to overturn? You are. Okay, so Toto reveals and pulls back the curtain. And the name Toto, T-O-T-O, 2015 means reveals, manifests, appear, to overturn it all. Literally, the whole thing was an illusion. The whole thing was a dream.
It's all psyop.
The whole thing's an illusion. It's an image. It's an illusion. Look what you're looking at, Toto.
It's all an illusion. It's all in your head. It's a bad dream because it's going to come to pass and you're not going to be touched. But whatever you did is because of your thoughts in your head. You created images in your head and conclusions.
Pulls back the curtain on the Wizard of Oz. Let's do this again.
Also,
the whole thing's an illusion. It's an image. It's an illusion. Look what you're looking at. Toto pulls back the curtain on the Wizard of Oz. Okay.
Also the halfway iRobot takeover. It's those with eyes to see.
They say a man and a woman. Look what's on.
That's what the landscape right here. It's just a matter of which way goes what direction. This representing the male and this the female. But this is also the opening that was not there at one point, and then it's almost like it. So here's the bottom, and these are concealed, so it's just like tucked up in there, right at the front, and it's like this is set up in place, and then it only pokes out. Like that area right there. But also going past this point, fitting in here. But it's a dead sheep. It's a happy sheep. I mean, he looks happy. But it's funny because these are poles. And this is just the grass worn out by people walking in this direction and in that direction. But it's meant to be that way. It's supposed to be that way. The spark of life. The spark. The birthright. Even more there. That's the birthright, because you still have the right to give birth with your seed. but it's concealed inside of the area, and this is why everybody wears those pins, because they are that race. Whether they did this to go and be concealed from this is the horn, this is the beehive, this is the hook coming out from that end, and then this is the creation from male to female, and then this is the host body, the bottomless pit. It wasn't there at first. Like, let's just say it wasn't here. This didn't look like that. Because the one way of going is the straight absentee ballot. Straight absentee. But it goes in and inverts. And then you become a woman because you changed. But at the same time, it's also iRobot. If you're just mailing it in, and you're not going from full-fledged receiver, because the receivers can only give by allowing their partner to mate with them, but it's a dead sheep at the end because it doesn't go anywhere. It hits this wall. Unless they're able to give birth with an implant of, this thing here. But it's concealed on the other direction. So this is why when you have male and female walking together, it's quite likely that the person with the face of a man is actually the woman host body system, and then the one that looks like the woman is the actual man that went the whole route, got the implants, the breast implants. If you turn it around this way and you go the face, the hair, the implants, and then so with this being the breast implants and this turning in, then you become a woman on the outside, but this is what's waiting for you. If you go in that route, you're going to have something meeting you at the tip. And you're going to be quite surprised when you see that and you thought it was a woman, and then you get stung. It's like a scorpion piercing you. Scorpion strike. Coming up from the sea. The reptilian back. All these houses shaped like that. The reptilian foot with the boats parked like that. And it comes up from the sea and just strikes. Strikes Johnny wearing his headphones and turn it the other way. The mask. I'm sure there's a few other things I'm missing still, but I got most of it. The snake, the serpent rising from the sea, Mr. Owl, the bug. They got the legs. It's like the grasshopper type bug legs. I don't know what this park is called. Maybe it's Maybe it's Penis Park. Hi, I'm Kelly. If I give you this Bud Light, are you up for whatever happens tonight, Ian? And Arnold Schwarzenegger said, "Oh, they bunch of beautiful women, eh?" I don't know, are they? And the eyes and the mouth of the bug. It's like bug inside super bug, big bug, little bug, big bug. The complete absentee design, but it's also showing you the concealed. But yeah, it goes up in that direction, and your spark of life is still up here, just hidden. But turning it around, it's where that's the the head snake that pokes out, the worm that never dies. And then these are just tucked up there. It's a Tucker job.
Let me see. Cover some subjects. Let's go to. This is what I wanted. Oh, I wanted to talk to you. As I was saying, but let me close off first. I want the what America's going to go through, because I really just want you to pay attention to people and understand their psychological position of what they're holding on to desperately. I mean, clinging to their God. There's just no way the government could be that evil. There's just no way. There's no way. No, please. Friends of mine over the past week, and one of them extremely liberal. Well, actually, both of them are very liberal. But it's funny as I speak to these folks, and they're still in business, and they're still. But it's amazing right now. They're finally getting to a place where they say.
So what's this all about? I mean, what's the whole world about?
I don't know what to believe anymore, and many people are going to need these things. But before I move on, I wanted to read from the book of Matthew. I'm going to go here. Gaslights everyone.
So what I do is I'll go back about a minute's worth, half a minute, to see what was the subject talked about before I seen JK up there.
Continuously. What do you see today? Hypocrisy at levels that's astonishing, so much so it gaslights everybody.
Gaslighting everybody.
Let me see. Cover some subjects.
Showed that girl.
Let's go to. This is what I wanted. Oh, I wanted to talk to you. As I was saying, but let me close off first. I want to close with the what America's going to go through, because I really just want you to pay attention to.
We're at the very end.
And understand their psychological position of what they're holding on to desperately. I mean, clinging to their God. There's just no way the government could be that evil. There's just let's go to. This is what I wanted. Oh, I wanted to talk to you. As I was saying, but let me close off first. I want to close with the what America's going to go through, because I really just want you to pay attention to people and understand their psychological position of what they're holding on to desperately. I mean, clinging to their God.
These are the two olive trees and the two lampstands that stand before the Lord of the earth. If any man wants to harm them, fire flows out of their mouth and devours their enemies. So, if anyone wants to harm them, he must be killed in this way. These have the power to shut up the sky, which means if it doesn't rain, literally, guess who has the power of the air to shut up the sky, so that rain will not fall during the days of their prophecy, but the rain, the raining down, not actual literal water drops. And they have power over the waters to turn them into blood and to strike the earth with every plague as often as they feel like pushing the button. two witnesses killed and raised. You know, when you're killed, you're persecuted and you're just stomped to the ground like by the people, even though the spirit is slaying the ones that are doing the stomping. But in this social media platform world, you get killed daily. It's like pick up your cross and follow Christ. You get killed daily. When they have finished their testimony, the beast that comes up out of the abyss, the one that ascends from the bottomless pit, that's where we're at right now, shall make war against them and shall overcome them and kill them. And their dead bodies will lie in the street of that great city, which is mystically called Sodom and Egypt, where also their Lord was crucified. So their Lord was crucified also in that great city. Those from the people and tribes and tongues and nations will look at their dead bodies for 3 days and a half and not permit their dead bodies to be put in the graves. And they that dwell upon the earth will rejoice over them and celebrate and make merry and send gifts one to another, because these two prophets tormented them that dwelt upon the earth. But after 3 days and a half, the breath of life, the Spirit from God, entered into them, came into them, and they stood on their feet, and great fear fell upon them which saw them. So that's only going to be the fear to those who saw them. And they heard a loud voice from heaven, saying to them, "Come up here." Nobody said anything except for in their spirit, when that great fear falls upon them, because of those two witnesses, that the breath of life entered back into them, the sign of Jonah is all you're going to get. That great fear falls upon them which saw those two witnesses. And then that's when their conscience finally got that, from being seared with a hot iron, it finally broke through, and they heard a voice inside of them, their spirit, telling them, "Let's go. It's time to wake the frick up and let's go in this direction." Then they went up into heaven in the cloud, and their enemies watched them. The enemies, then they went up into heaven in the cloud, and their enemies watched them. So these two witnesses as well, when Christ comes in the clouds, comes in the air, the principality of it rules it. When Christ comes in the clouds into the heavens, their enemies, the enemy's going to watch them. Their enemies, while their enemies looked on, while their enemies watched them, and their enemies beheld them. Also, because it's sounding like, come up here, here's the rapture, here's the getaway. But remember what Nick said.
Sukkot is a 7-day festival. The 8th.
These are the two olive trees, two lampstands stood before the God of the earth. They will tread underfoot the holy city 42 months. And I will grant authority to my two witnesses, and they will prophesy. After, you can look at this as, which I am looking at it. I'm looking at it as the first 42 months that are getting ready to end. And then I will grant authority to my two witnesses, and they will prophesy for 1,260 days, clothed in sackcloth. These are the two olive trees. These are the two lampstands, standing before the Lord of the earth. There's two standing on the narrow gate. There's one on this side, one on that side, swords swinging in every direction. If any man wants to harm them, fire flows out of their mouths and just straight up devours their enemies. So if anyone wants to harm them, he must be killed in this way. These have the power to shut up the sky. They have the power to make it rain. They have the power to make it snow. They have the power for the wind to go in that direction or this direction. They have the power to turn the air conditioner up and freeze us out. They got the power to turn the electricity off. They got the power to do whatever it is that they want to do. They have the power to do it, and they're doing it. But when they have finished their testimony, the beast that comes up out of the abyss will make war with them and overcome them and kill them. So when they're finished with their testimony after 42 months, Nick was telling you about a 7-day feast, and then on the 8th day, and when you're looking at the Revelation 12 sign, well, I got 7 months, 24 days. I forget why I put that. Just going over numbers. But it's $42 months. March 23rd, 2021. Remember, this is a psyop. There's some things promised to people. They're broken, but they're promised. Remember this too. When the thief on the cross, the one on the left and the one on the right, they had their bones broken. They had their bones broken. Christ was already dead to this world. He didn't. Scripture will be fulfilled after these 42 months, and then there's going to be a time period where, after they're finished with their testimony, their dead bodies can be lying in the street, the great city, which is spiritually called Sodom and Egypt, where also their Lord was crucified. So what is it about this building being built upon a high mountain, up on a rocky stairs? Somebody's Lord rules spiritually Sodom and Egypt, because that, I mean, what do you think? What do you think Sodom and Egypt is? It's that pin that they're wearing.
Segments were missing. I was like, what the heck? Never.
Yeah, I had to straighten that video out for talking, because I was taught. It's called Hero with a Thousand Eyes by Steve Lukather, and Steve Lukather is the guitar player for Toto. I'm very good friends with the whole band of Toto.
I figured that all along. Just takes time to let it like settle in. So really testing the spirits and seeing the two different twins, seeing the two twins, but the same.
Look at this image of the Wizard of Oz.
Same.
It's pretty much identical to Madonna coming up.
Now let's get into the meat of the matter.
That same symbology behind her. So
Madonna.
Now let me just get into the meat of the matter. Now
Madonna has the meat of the matter. The meat of the matter. That would be the female on the outside. But on the inside, it's full female, full male. Those from the people and tribes and tongues and nations will look at their dead bodies for 3.5 days, and will not permit their dead bodies to be laid in a tomb, to be put in graves. And they that dwell upon the earth, they're going to rejoice over them and celebrate and make merry and shall send gifts to one another, because these two prophets tormented them that dwelled upon the earth. So the first 3.5 days, their dead bodies for 3.5 days will not be permitted to be put into a grave, a tomb, like resting place. But after 3 days and a half, the breath of life, also a day is a year and a 3.5 years, it's something that gets fulfilled in all directions, in like 3 different interpretations on a specific day. This group is going to think we're at the beginning. Well, they probably are. This group is going to think we're in the middle, and then this group is going to know that we're at the end, at the new beginning. So technically, yes, the ones that are at the beginning, they're starting now. But there's first fruits that had this information before, and they're the ones that are at the end, starting a new beginning. So these two prophets, literal 2 people on earth, are going to rise back up after the 42-month period, and then they're going to be clothed in sackcloth and ashes for another 1,260 days. But these 1,260 days, they kind of got to go through the same thing that Christ went through in the beginning, the first 42 months. So after 3 days and a half, the breath of life from God entered into them. So after 3.5 years, the breath of life enters into them, and they stood upon their feet, and great fear fell upon them which saw them. But they have to see that there's the breath of life that enters into the 2 witnesses, and then at the same time, the 2 witnesses being in one vessel, being Adam and Eve, because that's what you have here is you have Adam and Eve in one vessel. This is the I robot, female, male and female. And then you have Adam, you have Eve, and
I was going into the fire of affliction, but
Adam.
also the light, the fire that came into me.
This is it.
The flame of God that came into me that night just lit me on fire.
I mean, and then
Toto. Okay, so they're in a place called Oz, and Oz, when you look up
Adam and Eve, and then Adam and Eve. Either way you want to look at it, it's the system. This is the creation of the host body system becoming Adam and Eve, being clothed with suits of nakedness, because this just used to be on the outside like normal, and then it went inside on the other side. So the whole entire planet is all about this. The entire, the whole revelation of the biggest illusion ever on the planet is you're looking at, it's just simply this. What you think you're looking at is not, it's not a man, that's a woman, but it's only a woman because it was changed into a woman. But it was a man. But the woman you're looking at was a man, but you can't tell because it really looks like a woman. Like, you cannot tell all the way through. Just no clothes on, you can't tell. It just looks like a woman. Now, whether or not some were born with like the ones with no hair, no facial hair, those type of men that are born that way, but then they can transform into a woman. However, the whole system is eating its own tail. And then you back up more and you see the harlot with her leg up, the head the implants. That's what it looks like anyway. The hair. And those seven demons that were cast out of Mary, she had 7 demons following her. So they were all cast out of one person, but it's also cast out of the system. The harlotry, the harlot system is what was judged. And those seven that run that system, the 7 women that run the system, they were committing fornication. They were the whores. They were the ones that had the demons cast out of them, all 7 of them. King David had 8 wives. He was married, and then he had an addition of 7 because of the 7 women that took hold of the skirt, that took hold of the wing of that one man. A man.
It's because he's a liar. It's false, and it's a false interpretation.
I am not.
About the Morning Star sign that I shared.
That's what he's campaigning for, as the male, the one that still can. Now I don't know, but for all I know, people can not be what they are, and they're really this and that, and the wife is the one that's really the guy, and the guy looks like the guy looks like the guy, but it's really the woman. But either way, Nick Vandelay is campaigning for that position, but he also said that the Elijah type's not going to be campaigning that he's Elijah. Therefore, if anybody is claiming to be that Elijah, then they all have demons.
With you guys regarding Venus that became the morning star on Shavuot this year. Venus was previously in the Pleiades on Passover, and now Venus is going to be in a Regulus conjunction on.
So Venus is going to be in a regulatory conjunction
on the real day of Sukkot or Tab.
The real day, which is the 8th day. He has 3 pictures here: Passover, Pentecost, Sukkot. Sukkot. It looks like 3 different diagrams of what is in the midst of the garden. 3 different. It's like there's 2 women and 1 man in that fountain, with 3 different types of gospels coming in each direction. That's the slide out. Like a small example of what's up at the parking lot. Because here you have, this is the first demonstration, revelation, and then this is the 2nd Peter. I guess this is the 3rd Peter, but I think there's only 2 Peters in the book of Peter.
So, and he said Jesus knew their thoughts. So here's the thing. The Pharisees said, but it says he knew their thoughts. And he said, every kingdom divided against itself will be ruined, and every city or household divided against itself will not stand. If Satan drives out Satan, he is divided against himself. How then can his kingdom stand? And if I drive out demons by Beelzebul, by whom do your people drive them out? Think about that. If I drive them out by Satan, then who do your people drive them out with? They can't even answer that because they don't believe in the entities, but they recognize them when he casts them out. There are so many things about these scriptures that aren't ever discussed, aren't even ever broached in a church. Then they brought him a demon-possessed man who was blind and mute, and Jesus healed him so that he could both talk and see. All the people were astonished and said, "Could this be the son of David?" Because the revelation, no matter what, when you see somebody rising again, they died to themselves and they rose new, knowing who they are and knowing the difference of this world. They know where they're at. They can see. Everything died to them. It's an awakening that is astonishing to be a part of. When the Father speaks to you in declaratives, tells you what to do, and all of it comes in the same, and you understand it by its fruit because of what it accomplishes. It doesn't accomplish the thing that this evil, nasty, lower G God would, killing women, children, insects, everything, hating people. Yeah, that God hates in the scriptures. So, what America's going to go through, because I really just want you to pay attention to people and understand their psychological position of what they're holding on to desperately. I mean, clinging to their God. There's long. The Bible was rewritten by King James. Just so you know. Oh, look at that. We're live on, wanted to make sure that there we are. We're live on, also on the Global Witness social site here, which is theglobalwitness.org. And if you want to go to the video site, it's renewtube.org. Renewtube, RENEW.
When you don't see me here,
TUBE.org, O-R-G.
I'll be over there.
We've got a little over 1,000 members here on the website. It's building up a great community. And you know, it's great.
See, but that's going to make people think he's getting ready to have a party for 1,000 of his lords, and then the party's over. I know how people think.
Access to, obviously, to the server, so I can see all of the videos or all of the pictures, profile pictures and things that people have posted just in.
I've been sitting here analyzing, like, what happened to this program that it would do this. This is crazy. So I've been analyzing, like, the points of the video that cut out. Let me show you what I'm talking about.
Okay,
so this is the video
Toto
that
reveals
I did. It's called "See All the Way Past the Illusion"
and pulls back
Try
the
not
curtain. And the
to
name Toto,
smile,
T-O-T-O,
knowing this
2015,
level of
2015 means
biblical
reveals.
Impossible, because the Lord has let me just take this down to the nitty gritty, and it's gonna blow your mind, the understanding. So I'm using their own stuff against them. The stuff they put in front of us and that they hide right in front of us, I'm just using it against them using biblical application. It's crazy. That's at the point where I'm showing you the divine feminine, divine masculine. That's where the video keeps cutting out. The one I produced, I'm like, what the hell? How's that even possible? I mean, why doesn't the video cut out at any other points? It's crazy. Now, let me show you something so you know what I'm talking about. This is what I'm talking about. You see this symbol right here? The pink represents the divine feminine. And then the other, the pink part is divine feminine. And the black part is divine masculine. Watch this. So, see, and it makes an X. This is the Time's Up movement in Congress. All these guys, all of Congress, when Trump was giving one of his first speeches in front of Congress, they were all wearing that, the Time's Up thing, and they were wearing that. It literally makes an X, but it's divine feminine and masculine right in front of your face. Now, in the video I produced for y'all yesterday, the 2-hour video, it keeps, I mean, it cuts out, like right now if I play it, it cuts out at that exact point where I'm explaining that while I watch it, like right now. But when I produce the video, that's where it cuts out that information as well. I'm like, whoa, that's impossible. Okay, let me show you what I'm talking about. Let's see. Okay, so here's the video. And at the point where I'm going to show you this. Watch. Watch this. Okay, just analyze it with me. Watch this. Watch. Stay with us. Just watch what's going on.
I see.
Okay, so I want you to see this next part in the video. They cut out everything out of. I'm like, where did it go?
Where did it go?
You can't just like not be there.
Well,
I was like, what the hell? Watch. Because this is where they're talking about Da Vinci, the Last Supper, the Da Vinci.
they just cut it out, like the whole part.
Painting.
It's like, where is it?
This is where Tom Hanks shows this girl in the movie the divine anymore, because it's like, what are they going to do? Hide the Vatican? It's in the shape of a snake. I've shown you. The Lord showed me the Vatican's a snake. What are you going to do? The penis. Just watch. Just stay with us. Just watch what's coming. Just stay with it. Okay, so I want you to see this next part in the. They cut out everything out of. I'm like, where did it go? I can't just like not be there. I was like, what the hell? Watch. Because this is where they're talking about Da Vinci, they're talking about Da Vinci, the Last Supper, the Da Vinci.
The Last Supper for this world is when you cut out the heart of your own cake and you eat it. That's the Last Supper that you're going to have of yourself.
Is the male and female fat and a woman instead of amen, which is a way of wrapping up your prayer,
There's
meaning it is
phallic
so. And
symbol.
they say amen and a woman. Look what's on their clothing. Look right here. That is the male and female phallic symbol on their freaking clothes. I told you guys, the Lord's let me reverse into this engineer everything down to the nitty gritty. And so when I'm trying to produce this video, it gets to this point and it's like, I mean, how's that? What? And even when I'm trying to watch my own video that's on private now because I'm trying to figure out how to fix it, it freezes there. I'm like, how is that even possible? And then I play it over and over and I'll go back and I'll rewind it a little bit. I'll go back and then it freezes. And right now, I want y'all to know I'm diligently working. I'm gonna get this information to you. I'll get it to you. I'm gonna work on other platforms too. I'm looking for other platforms. I have guys that Dave the Wave and another guy I work with, Lee, and we're gonna work on other platforms to get this information. I'll make sure y'all know where those are so y'all can go get it. Because if they're trying to stop the dissemination of this biblical truth and the truth of the world, I'm not kidding, guys, this is opening the door, the revelation of the whole thing. I mean, the whole understanding of the world, the whole thing, the whole system. The reason the reason this is all getting weird is because Elohim is trying to take over the whole system from the Lord God. That's why they're praying a monotheistic God known by many names. It's important that it's in these videos constantly because this is the whole story of everything. This is the whole story. Right side up to upside down to right side up. That's the whole thing. So if you hear me mention the hotel room and the Lord, descended on me and I heard read the tags, just roll with it. Just say, okay, I've heard this, but I need to hear it again. Illusion ever is what you're looking at. You can use the Bible and just the spiritual gifting and the data to prove the greatest illusion.
There it is. The greatest illusion on planet Earth is the male, female, reproductive, reproduced, carved out, resculpted, host body system, hosting a body. It's the biggest secret on planet Earth. Apparently, revealed through this landscape. Not only that, but when you let the bird go, and it flies away. Bye bye, birdie. When it comes to the absentee ballot.
The conspiracy right there. That's the conspiracy of all conspiracies, to create male and female. That's it. So that's why they want to return to, you know, their monotheistic God known by many names as Brahma, known by many names, a man and a woman.
And also, you have to keep this in mind too. If you do away with it, one of the reasons why they want you to do away with it is because in case if you're starving to death, you won't be able to get any protein to stay alive. Alright, over here, I'm seeing an eyeball. Looks like it's like... So that... It's shaping up to be a dead sheep. Dead sheepish. Definitely an eye. Lid. Like that. Looking. Could also be an eyeball looking this way. Which most likely it's both.